Hey Toasty DIY, my name is Jonah, and today I have a quick review for the EasySMX X10 controller. I've been using this controller for a few weeks now, and I think I have enough experience with this controller using it to give you guys a quick little review on whether or not you should buy it, and the drawbacks and benefits that this controller has. So when you buy this controller, it's going to come with a few things inside the box, and it's not going to be much at all really. Of course, you're going to have the controller itself, you're going to have a wireless dongle that I have already taken out and you've been using it for a while now. And then it's also going to come with a charging cable that is actually at my house right now, so I don't have that with me, but it's a pretty straightforward small box and nothing really else that comes inside of it. And the colorway that I chose is the silver. This is a really nice color scheme that I personally like a lot, and it's really nice and minimalistic, and it's going to be able to blend in with pretty much any color scheme you have in your home setup. And you can actually get the purple version on Amazon, which can actually sometimes come in a little cheaper. The one that I saw on Amazon for the purple version was $30, and then this one was around like $35 to $39. And a quick overview of the button layout, it's very, very similar to an Xbox controller. Of course, you have like these staggered joysticks here, which are Hall effect, which I really like to see. You have some really nice tactile clicky buttons for your A, X, B, and Y buttons, along with some nice tactile feedback with the D-pad as well, so that's really nice. And then you have a start button, a back button, and then a settings button. And then of course your home button right here on the top, along with the USB charging for wired connection and just on-the-go charging for this thing. And then your bumpers, pretty standard, exactly like a regular Xbox One controller. They're not like your tactile, like clicky buttons like you have on some other options out there on the market. Another downside to this controller, with these triggers here, there are no trigger stops in any form, so it's going to just be your standard Xbox style triggers. There's no stopping points at all behind them. Not the biggest deal, but if you are looking for something like that, this controller does not have that. But I will say, $30 controller, it's not the end of the world in my opinion, especially if you're going to be saving some money compared to other options. And then of course on the back here you have your two macro buttons here, M1 and M2, and then your connectivity little spot right here. So it's a pretty straightforward controller. And then of course the only other thing that I wanted to mention too on this controller is these two buttons right here, and then the magnetic plates as well. These two buttons are going to be able to control vibration. There's 3 vibration settings on this controller. So that's pretty cool and a nice feature that not many controllers in this price category have. And then there's one more button here on the bottom. I actually don't even know what this is, but it has like 2 little gun bullets, I think, and I haven't really been able to use that yet. So I don't think it's that important overall. But the cool thing about this controller, if you don't really like the color scheme and you want to make your own or swap them out for other options, you can actually remove these plates here, which are magnetized, and they come off really easily. There's like a small lip here at the bottom that you can kind of just pull up. And as you see here, I just pulled it off, and you have your base controller here. So it's a pretty cool design, and then you can kind of snap on and maybe change certain things out and make your own color scheme. And that's one more thing that I forgot to mention that comes in the box here. You can kind of customize it however you want, and I think they actually did give me some white plates, so you can kind of change the look of it if you want to, but I like the silver and black color scheme. It's really nice and minimalistic, and it's pretty cool looking. So aside from that though, we're gonna be getting into like the usability review, because I've been using this for a few weeks now. I've been playing games like Ghost of Tsushima and a few other games like Black Myth Wukong and just Minecraft, things like that. But I've been using this controller a lot the last couple weeks, and I gotta say, from someone who's been on like a wired controller with an Xbox controller for the last like 5 years, being on PC, this has been a game changer. I love the fact that it's a wireless controller, and the 2.4 dongle connection does work really well whenever you initially set it up. And the only issue that I have had with the wireless connectivity, out of the box it works really well, and I've had no issues with it until a few days ago where it wouldn't connect for some reason after I charged it. So after diving down a few rabbit holes on Reddit and stuff, there are some reset pins here that you have to time right whenever you're doing it to actually get these to reset the right way. But aside from that, it repaired nicely, and I've had no issues since. So wireless connectivity works good. Of course, like any wireless product, sometimes there can be some gimmicks and stuff. So it's easy to work through with this one. And aside from that, it's been really, really solid. I will say I do like the joysticks on this controller. They're nice and smooth, and obviously being Hall effect, they shouldn't have any weird stick drift issues or anything like that down the road, which you do like to see. And then obviously, I think one of my favorite parts is the tactile buttons on the A, X, B, and Y buttons. I'll just sit there whenever I'm in a cutscene or something spamming the buttons because they're so addictive to touch. Yeah, this has been a nice controller. $30, $35 if you can find them on sale on Amazon. I'd say it's a really good buy. I don't see myself replacing this controller anytime soon. There are some more expensive options out there on the market, but realistically, if you're just looking for a nice budget controller that will upgrade from your standard Xbox controller, maybe yours got stick drift, this is not a bad option. And I do like the fact that it has that same Xbox One controller style to it, because that's been my favorite controller style since I started getting into gaming. And that's definitely something I didn't want to stray away from, which I was able to do with this controller. So, and one more thing to mention about maybe like a negative to this controller is surprisingly this indicator button here. So whenever I go on to 2.4, you can see here that the light is flashing. Now, whenever it's fully connected, it'll obviously stay illuminated blue because that'll show that it's connected. But I will say that to me is like a downside because this LED is actually pretty bright, and that is a good thing to know that you are connected, but it is also a negative whenever you're holding your controller up here and like you're in your really dark room. That blue light can be somewhat annoying. I know it's a nitpick, but it's one thing to mention. I will say that's like my biggest gripe with this controller. I wish I could turn this light off because it can be a little distracting at times and it's just kind of in your face sometimes. But aside from that, if you can look past that and not really focus on it, it's not that big of a deal. And I'm not gonna, knock too many points off this controller or not recommend it because of that, because overall this controller is really solid. It's just a small thing that it's worth mentioning that kind of annoys me sometimes, especially if my room's really dark at times. So aside from that, this is a great controller. I do like all the features on it, and the vibration settings are really solid. Good variations between each setting, and overall it's a solid controller. Feels nice and sturdy. It's not it's gonna snap in half or anything. So if you want to pick one of these up yourself, be sure to check the links in the description down below. They will be affiliate links and they will help us out. But thanks for watching the end if you all did, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.